Home Affairs Minister Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi conceded before Parliament yesterday that South Africa has porous borders. He briefed the Portfolio Committee on the mysterious escape last week of Shepherd and Mary Bushiri to their home country, Malawi. Furthermore, in July, President Cyril Ramaphosa signed the Border Management Authority Act intended at tightening border control, allowing authorities effective management of all ports of entry. The law also provides more clarity on responsibilities, functions, regulation and accountability, which were previously split across a number of different government organs. Home Affairs Minister Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi joins us now to discuss the situation. Minister, thanks for your time. Good to have you on the programme.
Morning, Leanne, and morning to the listeners and the viewers out there. Thank you very much for having me.
Minister, this has been described as a national embarrassment. Are you embarrassed by this?
Well, it's not only embarrassment, it's also anger. I'm both embarrassed and angry, Leanne. Definitely, there's no way I can hide that.
You said, obviously, yesterday you were exceptionally angry when you heard that Bushiri was actually given bail. As a member of the security cluster in government, weren't there discussions before Bushiri was actually granted bail, given the seriousness of the charges against him and the fact that he is, without a doubt, a flight risk?
There was definitely a discussion between us and the Hawks. And that's why, Leanne, we provided Hawks with all the information why we think Bushiri is going to be a flight risk. Because remember, at that time, we were also in court because we wanted to revoke our documents from him, the permanent residence permit. We wanted to revoke from him, but Bushiri rushed to court. And you'll remember that there's a judge who put it in abeyance and said we must not act until Bushiri pleads, which is next year in May. And we did not like that. That's why we appealed. So it was during that period then when he applied for bail, and we provided the police with that information that since this man has got the tendency of getting irregular papers, fraudulent papers, etc., he's not to be trusted. He's likely to escape if he's given bail. He's a flight risk, in other words. And of course, the court did not agree with us and the police. They granted him bail, and they make a condition that he must report to the nearest police station 2 times a week on Mondays and Friday, in which case the police are now in charge of him because he must report to them. It was at that time, of course, when Home Affairs pulled out.
Minister, it's not good enough because we need a little bit more from you. We can't just blame the courts. I mean, let's go back to exactly what you said right in the beginning here, permanent residence. So we spoke to an immigration law expert now, and just a couple of minutes before we spoke to you, it is physically impossible that somebody like Bushiri could arrive in South Africa in 2016 and in the same year get permanent residence in South Africa and get it extended. How is this possible? It can't be possible. People have been living here for years and they never qualify for something like this. How did he get permanent residence?
Leanne, I'm not blaming the courts. I mean, telling you that we were wishing that they don't grant him bail. That's our wish, it's not a blame. And when they granted him bail, we were disappointed. The matter you are mentioning, you are very correct, Leanne. It was out of corruption, and we are doing something about that. Bushiri did not obtain those documents out of his own volition. He was given by a Home Affairs official, which of course needs to be punished. That's why we went to the court to say this is irregular, because it was given irregularly. And whether it's given by a Home Affairs official or not, the fact remains it's irregular. And it's possible with corruption, Leanne. There are several Home Affairs officials who have done that before, and we have arrested some of them, and we have charged some of them. Even in this case, it's only that we have got South African labor laws. I can't announce through the air. Even yesterday, I didn't announce to the parliamentarians who did that and what are we going to do about this. When the right time comes, we'll announce it. But it was definitely something that is unacceptable. It's not impossible when people are bribed. And one of the things we have discovered, Leanne, I don't think Bushiri even needs to bribe. He has got lots of followers in government, I can assure you. At least in Home Affairs, I've realized when you talk about him, there are lots of people who have got sympathies with him because they believe in his church. Remember, they call him a prophet. So they could easily give him papers, and it doesn't mean we're going to leave them. We are certainly going to take action against them. At the time we're telling the court, it's because the papers were given. Whether you take action or not, you go to the court and say these papers were obtained irregularly. It shows that we are working with a dishonest person here. Please, let's do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's speculation. You talk about so many people being members of his church. There's even rumors and speculation that some ministers are part of it, lots of government officials, including perhaps the judge that presided over his case. Do you know anything about that?
I know about people in my department, even though I don't have proof, but rumors have circulated that there are lots of people in our department that are followers of Bushiri. That's why, Leanne, you see, when the Omotoso case emerged and we discovered Omotoso is illegal in the country, remember, we are ready to deport him as soon as his legal process are over. Even if he gets sentenced, when he goes out, we'll certainly deport him. I did ask in Home Affairs immediately thereafter. I said, what about Bushiri? They said, no, Minister Bushiri has got permanent residence. There's no problem about it. There was no way of me to suspect that they are lying, but they did tell me that. And when the Hawks started investigating and said, look, there's something wrong with the papers, it's then that we went in and found that indeed there's something wrong with the papers, and Home Affairs officials collaborated. So it's not about blaming the judges. It's about showing them that, look, we have discovered this man has got wrong documents. Because people are corroborating with him, it means he's dishonest, he's a flight risk. Please don't give him bail. So when they gave him, it's not us blaming them, it's us being disappointed.
Yeah. Okay, Minister, so let me ask you just a quick question. So we're not blaming the courts. So we got to blame someone, and unfortunately someone is you that is sitting here and taking accountability for this, because you have admitted our borders are porous. You've admitted he has got 5 illegal passports, none of which he used to leave the country. So we have no idea how he left the country, which is very worrying for South Africans. His children left the country. We don't know how they left the country, where they left the country, and which entry or exit point. We don't know, because you have no record of any of this. Let's talk about his children. He's got 2 daughters. How did they leave the country? Surely they had to be accompanied by someone. They had to have some form of documentation. What happened to them?
Leanne, let me correct. Bushiris don't have illegal passports. The 5 passports are not illegal. At least we have got no reason to believe they are illegal, because they are Malawian passports. They are issued by government of Malawi. In South Africa, we never issued a single passport to the Bushiris. They are not traveling on our passports. So the passport issued were Malawian, and we have got no proof that they are illegal, because they are machine-readable passports as required by the International Civil Aviation Authority. So I just wanted to correct that part. The issue of Bushiri's children, we know our movement control system showed how they left the country. They left the country regularly through OR Tambo International Airport, and they were accompanied, and they had all the documentation to leave the country. There was no reason for a Home Affairs official, an immigration official, to suspect that there's anything wrong in children being in a flight with an adult.
Has anybody been held accountable for anything at this point? The permanent residency, all the illegal wranglings that have been happening behind the scene in your department. Has anyone been held accountable?
I've just reported to you, Leanne, that I'm not going to broadcast that. I've told you that, yes, somebody did something wrong at the right time. I'll announce what you are doing, because, Leanne, out of maybe feeling for favors from you or not being attacked and all that, I can please you and start announcing very, brave actions we are going to take and lose cases. You know that this country is based on laws, human rights, labor laws, and all that, which must be followed. Can you please allow me to follow that process before I'm doing anything to you?
I certainly would, but I think South Africans are desperate to hear this, because they need to know. And I'm not asking you to identify the person. I'm asking you a simple question. They've been held accountable. Have they been charged?
Leanne, I've just announced to you, when we're going to charge a person, we don't announce first over the media. Please, Leanne, can you allow me to face the process? If you pressurize me, you'll soon make me blunder, and people will win, because the labor laws in this country are very specific on what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Does it not suffice for me to tell you that, yes, we know that there are people who did this and processes are on? We do know, yes, and we know it was wrong. Even when we went to court, we're knowing.
Unfortunately, it's not good enough, Minister. It's not. For South Africans that are watching this, and we are held to and accountable to the law, but there are so many people that are above the law, and we need to know that accountability is happening in the background. The Guptas left the country. al-Bashir left the country. Bushiri has left the country. You yourself admitting, and I'm saying this for the third time now, we have exceptionally porous borders, which at the end of the line remain South Africans who are not safe. We are not secure. If people like this can leave and come in as they please, who knows what's happening?
Well, Liad, if you want to go back to the issue of porous borders, as I'm saying, it has been accepted, it has been acceded to. And that's why 10 years ago, the process of establishing a border management authority has been established. So if you want to find us guilty of porous borders, yes, we are guilty as charged. We do accept it, and there's a process. We're not denying that. We're not running away from that. Now, on the issue of charging people, I'm saying to you, yes, people are going to be charged, but don't make me announce it through the media. Because Bushiri acquired their documents irregularly. And documents are provided by Home Affairs officials. If they are irregular, it's obvious that the Home Affairs official was involved in that. And we've been busy with that process of at the right time, we'll actually come here and inform you. We won't run away. All I'm begging you is that don't push me to do things now in order for you to say, yes, it's good enough, because I can see you are chastising me. That is not good enough. I may feel that, oh, I'm under attack. Let me announce now so that Leanne says it's good enough. Only to come and lose the case. You'll still call me here and tell me it's not good enough that we have lost the case. Please, can you allow us to follow the processes and not lose the cases?
We will. We will.
Yes.
We'll leave that. We'll leave that there. And I never wanted you to name. It's not about naming. It's just about knowing that things are happening behind the scenes. Because we know, Minister, that fraud and corruption in Home Affairs has been there. It was raised by MPs, saying IDs and other documents are sold by officials. I mean, we've had witnesses and been witness to people buying IDs and other documentation at Home Affairs. The corruption has been there long before you came, and we do know this. But how is the department tightening the system to minimize these criminal activities by your own officials?
No, Liad, it's not something that is in debate, that there's corruption in Home Affairs. I personally have announced it many times. And I even said Home Affairs is the only department in government that has got a special DDG, a special branch to deal with internal corruption. We have got a special DDG who's doing that. And we do catch them, Lian. It might be that because of this Bushiri issue, you may forget that several people have been charged and fired, and some are still in suspension. During my budget speech, I announced that we had a lady who we deployed to our mission in Namibia. She was literally selling visas to Pakistani citizens to come here to South Africa free with visas they bought from her. And when we caught her, she had already issued 100 visas. Fortunately, the Pakistanis holding those visas had not yet come to the country. We blocked them. We fired her. We gave the issue to the Hawks. I was appealing to the unions because they were defending her. And I was saying, please, unions, these are your members. Let there be patriotism. I know corruption and bribery is one thing, but let be patriotism. You can't have people selling the country like that. But they do sell it. They do sell it, Leanne. And remember, people who are looking for permanent residence are moneyed people. They are not ordinary people who are looking for permanent residence. Ordinary people are the ones who skip the fence there when they see a hole in the fence. These ones are moneyed. They've got billions, and they tempt our Home Affairs officials. But we do arrest them, and we're working with the Hawks. And I can assure you, in the next few weeks, we are going to be making other major announcements. We are definitely going to, I can assure you of that. Not related to Bushiri only, But other major announcements about this issue are going to be making in the next coming weeks.
Minister, just as we wrap up, and you and I both know, I mean, if somebody like the Bushiris can leave, they're very well recognizable and well known. We have a huge problem of compromised security. And the question is, how safe is South Africa, considering the serious problems of human trafficking, children smuggled in and out of the country? One has to wonder how many similar cases there are that simply go unnoticed and we don't even know what's happening.
Well, Leanne, when the motivation and the objectives 10 years ago of why we need to establish a BMA, Border Management Authority, all those things were put in as objectives that there are cars which leave South Africa to go to Mozambique and other countries. The Minister of Police himself said he has been to Mozambique. He found them there with their number plates, but we don't have a legal instrument to bring them back. So we know that. We know that there is child trafficking. We know that there are drugs all over the world. I'm sure you are aware that drugs go across borders, not only in South Africa. It's a worldwide phenomenon, which is quite unfortunate. We know that counterfeit goods go across borders. So we are trying to work together, and that's why we're establishing a border management authority so that we deal with that. Remember, at the present moment, at our borders, we have got 6 government entities applying 58 acts of parliament. That is very confusing. Mm-hmm. So when you pass one act and they work under one commissioner and under one commander, it will sort of eliminate all these problems that we are experiencing.
All right, Minister, I have to leave it there, unfortunately. Thanks for coming. Thanks for taking our invite to come and speak to us here on the program. Our Home Affairs Minister, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, talking to us about the current situation of South African borders following a new and stronger act, this in light of both the Bushiri matter and the Minister's appearance before the Home Affairs Parliamentary Portfolio Committee yesterday. And that's where we've got to, unfortunately, leave it for our SABC2 viewers.
Indeed. And we'll be with you again tomorrow morning.